What's up, babe, and everybody else? We have a bit of a long one today. It's been a minute since I made a video, just because I actually took, if I can say, a break, I guess, from FIFA. Like, I still log on and I'll do the SBCs and stuff like that. I'll play the odd offline game here and there, which you guys will see, like, kind of just some of the results from, like, our squad battle stuff. But, like, I just took a break from, like, online gaming because of this episode. So this is actually my FUT Champs results from last week, and I'm just going to power through. We're not going to, like, kind of dissect every single game. You're just really going to see the goals and the results, and essentially what happened, and then kind of what I got from it and why I'm taking a break from it. So before we kind of get into all of that, guys, if you could leave a like down below on the video, anyone who's new to the channel, thank you. And if you're not already following, please hit that follow button. That would be great. So I appreciate all you guys commenting and liking. We've had some great support over the channel. So I apologize because I didn't want to, like, kill some of the momentum we had going. I'm going to try to release a couple videos this week, actually, and get some stuff because there has been a lot going on with TOTS. And, like, look, TOTS is my favorite time of the year, right? It's a fantastic time of year, but you know, they release really cool cards. The downside is really the only people that are playing are absolute animals. So that's kind of a segue into where we're going with this video. So obviously Liga was going to be super crazy in terms of people wanting to play because they all want Mbappe, they all want Messi, they all want Neymar, right? I was expecting it to be crazy busy. I don't like using the term toxic, as you guys know. I tend to drop that every once in a while, but I don't like that term because I don't think it's toxicity, but I knew that it was going to be super sweaty, I guess is the better way of putting it. I knew that FUT Champs was going to be a nightmare to play because it was just going to be the sweatiest nightmare games over and over and over. I started playing my games, I think, on the Saturday because I didn't play on Friday, but we went on Saturday. And Saturday, spoiler alert here, I went 5-0. And we were playing really good FIFA. The team was playing fantastic. And then I got caught in Elo hell. So the first 5 games, literally from the first game, were super sweaty. However, my team was playing good and I was able to grind out some wins. But none of the opponents were bad. Everyone was decent. And that's not to sit here patting myself on the back, but they were actually all really good teams that we were playing against. They were all really good players. We just, you know, we got some luck. We had some results. But we just grinded it out. You know, I was playing really good FIFA, and 5-0, I think it was the best start we ever had. And then I got caught in, like I said, Elo hell. So I don't remember if Elo is a proper term for FUT Champs. So basically what they do is they consider your win streak. So the more games you win, the tougher opponents you come up against. I personally think that going 5-0 is the worst thing you could possibly do because next thing you know, you're just coming up against, like, literally the sweatiest players on the face of the earth. And that's essentially what happened with us, is we came up against some of these guys and it became just absolute hell. After going 5-0, we just came across, like, some of the best FIFA players we played all year. And even though we got a couple results against a couple of them, some of these guys that we're coming up against were the best players that we probably played the entire year. Also, after that game 5, we ended up coming, like, it's not this game, but you guys are going to see it after we go 5-0 or 6th game. We end up coming up against a really, really good opponent. However, we are up 3-0, and we'll, you know, I'm kind of preluding to this. We were up 3-0, and then the guy he was a good enough player, so I'm not hating on him for it, but he basically just changed all his tactics. He just went constant pressure, ultra attack, like super aggressive, and my team just fell apart. Like, I couldn't do anything to stop this wave, and I think the guy ended up beating us 6-3. He just scored, like, goal after goal after goal, and I couldn't stop it. I literally could not stop it. There was nothing I can do. It was really frustrating. We tried our best, but I think he took us into extra time, and once he got that 4th and extra time, like, literally our team's dynamic difficulty, all the sliders had dropped so far, like, I couldn't dig myself out of it. It was just such a nightmare to play. And after that, it just went into, like, rat hell. So I was just bouncing around between, like, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And what started off from being a 5-0 record ended up finishing us on 11-8, right? So again, spoiler alert here in terms of the results. You guys know we get to 11. Like, I don't even think I could have gotten a 14 if I wanted to this weekend because I was just trying to get to 11. And those last couple games, it was just rat hell, like, literally rat hell. So anyway, like, short of me just sitting here pissing and moaning, I just didn't want to play this after this week. So I've really thought about whether I want to play FUT Champs for the ultimate TOTS. I might consider doing it just for like some content, but like what I can tell you was this FUT Champs put me in the worst mood I've ever been in. And my poor girlfriend, like, she like FaceTimed me because she's obviously like, she's in Toronto. So we have to do the long distance thing. And when she tried FaceTiming me, I was just like, honestly, like, I'd message her and I was just like, I can't FaceTime right now. Like, this put me in such a bad mood. I didn't even want to like talk to her because I didn't want her having to feel the wrath of my frustration with this stupid game. Like, it was that frustrating. And I'm embarrassed to even admit that, but that's just the truth, right? Like, you guys know I try to tell the truth as much as possible. Like, I try to be very transparent with everything. And like, that was just me, like, being, I guess you could just say, a baby over this. Like, this is a video game. It put me in such a bad mood. I didn't even want to play it. And I had to like literally take time to stop and like kind of reset. Like, I needed just like an hour to cool off because I was like, this was such a frustrating, awful experience that I couldn't even talk to my poor girlfriend. Like, all she wanted to do was just like talk and see how her day went and see how I was doing. And I was just like, you need to give me some time because I was so frustrated over a video game. Like, that really says something about how awful this game is coded and what a terrible video game it is. And I know a lot of people will probably think, well, why are you playing it, right? Like, I'm just trying to get this channel going, and maybe that's a cop-out excuse. I still like playing when it's playing good. Like, it can be fun to play. Like, when I play with my friend Nima, when we play co-op, even if we're losing games, like, it can be frustrating, but I mean, at the same time, like, him and I just have a good time playing it, right? Like, it's fun for us to interact and like card collect and like try new players and new teams. But like, man, the way this game has evolved over the years, it's turned into such a sweaty nightmare that, you know, to have to win 11 games to just get any kind of like cards or results or anything like that, this has become all about winning. And it's just, I've said this in previous videos, it is just such a awful thing for your mental health to have to force a person to try to win a game in order to be able to enjoy getting some of these cards, right? Like the packs and stuff that they've released, team of the season stuff, like, it started off quite hot. I think a lot of people just like really melted all their packs through the EPL team of the season, because the last couple have just been really, really stingy. Like the French ones, and especially the Serie A one, like, there have been nothing. I've packed 5 tots this entire week from Serie A, and 4 of them were Bremer, that like basically unusable Brazilian keeper, center back. He's totally unusable. He's an awful center back. He won't even come close to most people's Serie A team, let alone like, you know, their main team. And he's been 4 of the 5. Like, I've done all the upgrades. I try to do all the SBCs. Nothing. Like, literally, we're packing nothing. It's been crazy, and it's like, I don't know what EA are doing. Like, I really don't. I don't know if they're still just trying to milk people out of money. But even if you're spending money on the game, like, the packs are just so terrible. And I apologize, guys, for me sounding like so negative here. I'm trying to think of like the positive stuff that's been going on. Like, there just hasn't been a whole lot. I think the SBCs have been good. You guys will see some of the SBCs we do at the end. But, you know, the SBCs are affordable, so they're okay. The players that are coming out are kind of cool. The objective, I'm actually planning on doing the Eto'o Martinez objective, so maybe we'll do a live comm of me trying to do that. I'm sure that won't be frustrating at all. But yeah, like, I'm gonna try to do some of those things, some of the objectives. We've done a lot of the SBCs. This team of the season swaps token thing, they've like forced you to do like offline objectives. So I don't mind offline stuff. So for me, it doesn't really matter that much. I'm actually okay with it. For the most part, it's not really anything that is out of the norm because I play them anyway. But I could see for people that hate doing offline why this is frustrating, because offline is not a very fun experience. It's just kind of something that EA is forcing people to try to do. But, you know, if it gets you a cool card or it gets you some fodder for like future packs and it gets you those tokens, I guess you kind of have to do them, right? So for me, I don't mind doing it. It's just, I don't think also that's been overly rewarding either. It's really been bizarre because they've got squad battles. This is the game that we're talking about earlier, so you guys will see the results from this. Squad battles, there's one red player that you'll get. However, for whatever reason, they do a player pick for like the really low. If you finish in like silver or gold, you'll get a player pick, but it caps. And then in the like elite finishes, if you're playing a lot of squad battles, you actually just get a player pack. So I don't understand why they didn't swap it and do like you actually get one pick. Like one pick is not going to, it's not going to affect EA that much. Like they're so stingy with their rewards. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. Like it's really crazy how cheap they've been. There's no other term for it. They've just been really cheap. Some good news, though, is that I've read some leak accounts have said that they're changing the chemistry system. This old, terrible, antiquated chemistry system that's about 10 years out of date. I've been saying this for literally a decade that they're going to need to get rid of this thing. I think eFootball they actually had gotten rid of their they don't really even have a chemistry system. They just allow you to play with all your players, and I don't know if it was them that affected EA's decision to like get rid of it, but I'm just praying that the chemistry system doesn't suck next year, because they're losing the FIFA license. I still think they'll have the FIFA Pro license, but they're losing FIFA as an actual license in general, so they're going to have to buy individual team licenses and stuff like that in the future. So next year's the last FIFA, so I think they really need to go hard. It's really annoying that you really have to hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook before they actually make any changes of significance, but that is what it is. That's typical EA. This is the game that we were talking about. This is where the guy just went like constant pressure ultra attacking. If you guys watch that last goal back, what you guys are going to see is essentially my team just falling apart. As you guys can see here, they're not locking into any tackles. My team was playing fine, and I'm not angry at this guy. It's just I'm so frustrated at this game because, like, look, I was up 3-0, and I was playing good FIFA. But as soon as this guy changed his tactics, I'm trying to even adjust a little bit. But I play a 4-2-3-1. It's a defensive formation, and I defend quite well. But like my players just fall through the floor. They won't lock into tackles, and like I said, on that game tying goal, he plays a through ball, and you'll see Alaba kind of do that kind of like, they almost like skate. It's almost like they're running too fast and they can't like control, and they're like kind of spinning around. And as soon as you see them start doing that type of stuff, you just go, this is a big problem. Because that's the dynamic difficulty of the game. So anybody that like is confused as to what dynamic difficulty is, essentially it's literally sliders sliding during the course of a game. And that's essentially what happened in this game. The guy changed his tactics, so in order to have those tactics influence the way his team plays, it also nerfs the way your team plays. So defensively, my players just fall through the floor. Next thing you know, he's a decent enough player. But if you watch his goals, they're not like, it's nothing crazy. He's literally just running across the field, and my players aren't tracking runs. It's like they lose their defensive awareness. They just kind of like lose track of where their players are going. The guy was just, he'd run forward and then he'd cut across the middle, and all these like crossing runs were just causing nightmares for my players' AI. They couldn't figure out where these guys were going, and all the guy would have to do is hit pass or hit a through ball, and next thing you know, my players are just falling all over the place, running out of place, they're swinging wildly, and he scores, and it's 3-3, and next thing you know, we're going into extra time. Credit to the guy. I had to go ultra attacking because I had to get my players out of this slumber, and it ended up costing us because I have to go a little bit more offensive to just try to get back in this game. And then, we take the loss. And then this happens. So we go into the next game. And again, I'm not insulting my opponents. These guys they're fine players. They're actually really good players. But if you watch some of these goals that we're conceding, like the players just aren't locking in. They're not blocking anything, right? Like, look at how wild the swings are from Cafu there. Like, even there, Marquinhos, they're falling. They're just a step behind. They're swinging. For those of you that don't know what swinging is, it's exactly like it sounds. It's essentially when the defender's here and you try to get in front of them, but like it's almost like they're sliding from side to side, and they'll swing massively. So you can't stay in front of the guy because it's almost like you don't have full control of the defenders. That happens with morale, right? Like we lost our last game, so a player will swing wildly. It's just one of the many things that happen, right? So I just went very direct. Nice little through ball there. That's the type of goal that we get burned on all the time. So thankfully, that's one of the only times where that actually works, because I don't generally try to dump too many like crazy through balls. I'll try to wait for a run to develop. And then with this one, I knew that through ball was going to be too far. So thankfully, Luka Modric got that pass off in time. Here we got a little lucky too. It went through a couple defenders and we're up 3-2. However, we're going to come up against this decent opponent who's going to know what to do. And he's going to go ultra attacking. Our defenders fall apart. He's just going to run straight. Our defenders are going to wildly swing. And there you go, 3-3. So it was a very frustrating experience. The entire weekend ended up being like this. I just don't. I don't know. Like, there you go, right? Another one where he's just bumbling through players, and like the defenders, they just don't lock in. I don't know what to do, right? I try taking the players offline, but you have to win so many games online, and even if your team is playing 99%, like if they're playing on like 99 morale, there's like you'll still have instances where you're up against an opponent, and if he just goes like constant pressure, like the DDA will pull your sliders down, so it just becomes very tough. It's just really terribly coded. There's so many things that affect a result, right? So we end up losing 4-3, and the 2 goals that this guy scored, again, no fault of his own. He's just doing what he needs to do in order to win a game. But the last 2 goals that he scored, neither of them were really, he didn't really create a chance. He just kind of passed through, but my defenders were just not locking in, and they were just swinging like this. And he just literally passed right through and then just hits shoot, and it goes through 2 legs, and my keeper will short arm it. Like, that type of stuff is just the stuff that like causes me to just get so frustrated with this, that I go, why am I playing it? Like, it's causing me so much grief and anguish from a mental health standpoint, that I just go, man, I don't know if I can go back into this. So like, as much as I would love to play FUT Champs for the Ultimate Tots, I have to really think about whether I can do it. It's going to come down to how I'm feeling on that day. I would love to do it from a results standpoint and just get 1 or 2 cool reds, because we've got none. I've gotten so many reds throughout the course of the year, and I've got none of them that are usable. The only one that's even remotely usable, I don't want to say usable, because look, you could use them, but ones that will actually like make my team would be probably Kakare. And at this stage, I think there's other players that I can get that are probably better than Kakare, so I don't think he would actually make my team. I have him coming off the bench. He wasn't even playing in my starting lineup here. What I will say is some of the players, that's a perfect example right there. Okay, so sorry, I'll come back to Kakare in a second. But that right there, this guy gave away the ball at the end. I see Puskas breaking out, and I want to play him into space. Instead, it forces a pass. It doesn't identify that it's Puskas. Puskas like literally walks over the ball, and it forces it to a player that's got 2 men on him. Like, that type of stuff, guys, watching it back is making me angry. Like, literally making me angry. We started off 5-0, and now we're 5-3. And like, look, you can say whatever you want. You could say that I got lucky in the first couple games. You could say, oh, I didn't defend very well. Probably all true. But when you actually go back and watch the things that cause goals in this, we lost both of those games by 1 goal, and they were goals that I don't really, and I don't mean this to be insulting to my opponent, I don't think he really deserved either of them, right? Like, the goals weren't like well crafted, literally to just pass right into a defender and not even think, not even try to be elusive, literally just look and just pass right through, and the defenders just double step over it, and the ball just goes right through both of their legs, and then you shoot and the keeper short arms it. That type of stuff is just, it's crazy to me. It's crazy that goes on. Like, could you imagine playing Call of Duty and you're just shooting and the gun just like swings up and you just shoot into the air and you just go, oh, well, dynamic difficulty of a gunshot. Like, it's just, to me that sounds completely idiotic, right? But to EA, they need to reprogram this whole game from square one. Needless to say, the one positive that came out of this was that I got a ton of footage for the morale video that I want to make, like the handicap explained part 2 video. Like, I'm going to look at the clips here. I think we have, let's see, I can just tell you right now. This is ongoing. 62 items from this past weekend. 62! Okay, that were from offline, from online, literally things that I just picked out that were anomalies. Like, even there, right? That's crazy. That goal right there. Like, I came running into him with Marquinhos. He didn't even try to put in a tackle, and like Cruyff just literally runs straight, and Marquinhos just runs right past him as if he's not even there. Like, he literally was a pylon there. So just this whole weekend was just filled with it. I don't know if it's gotten worse as the year's gone on, or if it's just me getting more frustrated because there was much more on the line here. But like, you know, when I'm watching some of my goals back, again, I'm not trying to praise myself, but I'm trying to like craft openings and create a shot. I'm not just like running straight and shooting into a defender. Like I'm trying to find holes and not take a shot unless I'm open or I have a good angle, right? And again, not like I'm just watching some of this stuff back. Like literally defenders running right past the ball. They're not locking into anything, right? It's just crazy stuff that was going on this whole weekend, man. Really, really nuts. And next thing you know, there you go. We lost by another 1-goal result, right? Like we could be technically 9-0. Now we could be 3-6 based on the fact that you could say that about the wins we got. I get it. But I could easily be 9-0. Like, look at that. Like, did you guys see that? Like, Marquinhos literally runs right by him. And look at the save from Courtois. Ironically, I was playing even some of the offline stuff to do some of these tokens. And when I'm playing in, like, the higher divisions, I was playing against a 63 rated keeper. He had 22 saves, and I won 1-0. 63 rated bronze keeper against one of those teams that was just all bronze. And they were actually some of the hardest teams that I came up against, because I have a feeling that this is offline stuff. The bronze teams, I think, just like literally nerf all your players and give them a boost. Literally, that's like the definition of handicap. Again, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with that, but like the bronze teams that I was playing offline were harder than any of like the super high rated teams. And I was playing on the same difficulties. Like this bronze keeper, the ball would get shot and he would jump forward and like pick a ball out of the top corner. Literally, the ball would come, he'd go right here. There's the corner of the net, and he'd pick it out. He'd literally fingertip save, and it would knock wide of the net. It was crazy, the stuff that I was seeing. This is a 63 rated bronze. I never even heard of the guy. He was like a English third division keeper that wasn't even like a bronze rare. It was nuts. I didn't know what was going on, but anyway, like the keepers have the capability of making saves, but like again, it's random. Like there shouldn't be any randomness to this game. It should just be like if you created an opening and you created a shot, even time finishing. Like I've seen so many guys that will do like a really nice, they'll create a chance, they'll have green time finishing on, they'll actually hit a green, and the keeper will dive open or dive and make this fingertip save. And then they'll do like a red shot, and the ball will just scuff, and the keeper will fall over, and it will like bounce over them. Like it's so inconsistent and so awful that it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, so we're actually 6-4 at this point. This is going to make us 7-4. Where I got like really like frustrated the most was, I think we get to the point where we're about, I'm sort of foreshadowing a little bit here. Excuse me, but I think we got to 8-4, and that's when we started taking on all these losses. Like we went 5-0. We came up against a bunch of like hardcores. And that just put me into like ELO hell, right? Because I'm just playing against really high rated guys that are probably going like 10-0, 11-0 because it thought my ELO was really high. And then I'm coming up against those guys, and then I have to lose a bunch in order to face a couple more scrubs, and then I beat the scrubs, and next thing you know, I'm playing against the beasts again. Like it was such a yo-yo, right? Like the first 5 games, the opponents were fine, but like my team was just playing well, and then it just like they just turned into the most inconsistent. Some games they would come in and they would just boss the team, because you could tell the guy, he was having morale issues, and like he clearly just doesn't understand it. And then I'd play against other opponents who their team was just like god tier, and I just couldn't stop it. Like this type of stuff, like look at that, right? Passes through Cafu, and then I collect it with Verratti. His Dele Alli just runs in, steals it, and smashes it into the net. Then he plays this ridiculous ball. The player saves it, just dumps a cross in here, and there you go, 2-2. Two really, say whatever you want, to me, very undeserved goals. I'm not saying all my goals are deserved, guys. It's just, I think a lot of the goals that I'm seeing, they're not really deserved, right? Like, they're just nonsensical stuff, right? Like, to me, that makes sense. Literally play a through ball, run through, smash it into the empty net. And I know people will disagree with that. They might think that I'm just being a homer and saying, oh, it's me. But, of course, people do that in FIFA naturally, right? But, you know, those types of things, I could have lost this game very easily based on 2 goals that were really undeserved. Even, you know, this type of stuff, right? Did I score here? Yeah, like look at my opponent's defending there, right? His player just overran it, and it played a nice through ball inside for me to play to Messi, who ends up scoring a goal, right? So it goes both ways. You could be very frustrated being one of my opponents and having my team who's already like really good, if they're playing on a like 99 morale, like my team's just playing beast and these guys can't stop it. It's funny because in one of the previous videos, a guy left a comment like he was all upset at the fact that he felt I don't know if he felt like I was a traitor, and I was just like should have made my channel more like handicap exposing, like exposing handicap and talking about like, you know, handicap. Like I've said this before, I can't make my whole channel just about handicap just because people like there's not enough content, right? Like you need to do more than just talk about handicap, right? Because the subject is only so deep. But one of the other reasons why I kind of got a little discouraged from making content over the past week was I actually, a couple times, I was watching content creators, and one of the guys that I really like to watch is Pugzilla, and he was going through, shout outs to Pugs, a really good content creator, engages with his chat, really a big fan of his, but some of the people in his chat, and this, again, not his fault, I'm not insulting him by any means, but some of the people in his chat were real, like, dicks, for lack of a better term. Anyway, he had taken on a couple losses, and you could tell that his team was playing like crap. And to me, you guys know what I'm going to say. You know what the reason is for it. And I tried to explain it to him, and one of the idiots in his chat just went, "You." That was literally it. Like, when I literally wrote an explanation as to what was going on, he literally just said, "F you." And I said, that's a very intelligent rebuttal that you came up with. Very well articulated. And he just went, "F you," right? So that's the level of idiocy that you're getting with a lot of the people in this community, I dare say, right? I air quote that, right? Because there is a lot of people that are just idiots, right? And I get it. It's a very young, generally skews towards younger men, right? And some of them are just morons, for lack of a better term. But, you know, trying to explain this to people that don't want to hear it, they just want to say bad gameplay today. So I've gotten kind of discouraged from even wanting to like make some content and try to beat this drum, because to me this makes it's very simple. It's not that complicated. It doesn't take rocket scientists to figure out what the hell is going on in this. And I try to explain like the rationale and the reasoning why I think this exists, and then you'll get some idiot like that just says, you know, "F you," or "shut up," or "this isn't FIFA 10" or something. Like, they're just morons. And you know what? Like, I try to keep things compartmentalized, so I try not to freak out. And I also try to, you know, I live by the motto of consider the source. You get some idiot moron online who just will make a comment on one of my videos, or he'll go into a chat and just say, "Oh, that doesn't make any sense," but then he'll be the same guy that says, "Bad gameplay, you don't even understand what bad gameplay is." I'd go, why don't you explain what bad gameplay is? Explain it to me, since I'm such an idiot. Why don't you explain to me what bad gameplay is? "Well, it's when the game's playing bad." Sick genius. Really awesome explanation as to what it is. The game's not playing good. The servers are overloaded. Like, it's just idiots, man. Like, just total idiots. And there's a ton of them. So again, I apologize to those of you that, you know, have tried to hear what I'm saying and take it, you know, I encourage you to take it with a grain of salt. Question it. Question my methodology and my theories on this, because that's, you know, I don't want you to sit there arguing with me all day, but at the same time, like, you need to take things with, you know, critical thought and think, like, is this possible? You know, what could possibly be going on? But to just watch some streamer who just goes, "Oh, bad gameplay today." You know, there's another streamer I'm actually, like, I have him on in the background right now. I don't want to name names, but he bronze benches, and then he says there's no such thing as bronze bench doesn't do anything. Bronze bench is very simple to me. It doesn't necessarily affect the game that much. It's really just to matchmake. So one of the things that creates your elo is the team composition, right? So it's not only your win percentage or your win streak or whatever it is, but it also takes into account like how high rated your team is. If you have a 195, you're going to come up against 196s, 197s, 194s, 192s. If you bronze bench your team, it brings the rating down. So if you have a 185, you'll come up against 184s and 186s. It is not rocket science, guys. It's not that complicated. If you don't understand it, it's because you're an idiot, right? Like, it's as simple as that. And I'm sorry for people that don't want to hear that, but like, the amount of times that I've heard people like have that explained to them and they still can't understand it. Dude, if you can't understand that simple concept, it's you. There's something wrong with you and the way your brain works, because it's really simple to me. And I sound like very toxic today. So again, guys, I apologize. I've had to apologize multiple times, but I've gotten so irritated with some of the people in the community that are just saying the dumbest stuff, right? It's just wild to me that like someone could think servers, bad gameplay today, but then if you explain to them why DDA might exist or how the game is created and operates, they don't want to hear that. They just go, no, bad gameplay, bad servers. That's what I heard, Tom or Gorilla or someone say. And again, not calling them out, but like they're pros. They don't sit there dealing with server stuff. They just play the game, and they play the game really damn well. But like, do they understand the ins and outs of how it runs? No. Am I an expert in it? No, but like I have a pretty educated opinion on it. I worked there. I have a pretty good understanding for how a game's created. So if you want to agree with me, that's fine. But like, don't just say like, no, you're wrong, because you're the idiot who's wrong if you just think that like, hey, this is impossible. It's not impossible, guys. It's very easily possible. Bronze bench is a thing. Whether you need it, totally up to you. I don't necessarily think having a great team makes you a great FIFA player. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't make you a good FIFA player, as you can see by the results. Some of the teams that I've lost to don't even necessarily have the best comprised team. They're just guys that have put meta cards in good positions, or they're just good players and they understand how to do it. You still have to understand how to play. You still have to be able to use your team. And it's as simple as that. You still have to be able to take these guys onto the field and use them properly. It's not as simple as just put a team together with like Ronaldo and Pele and Messi and Mbappe. You still have to know how to use them. And this is the other funny thing, is I've seen so many guys that will send teams to pros and just go, what do you think? Help me build another team. Like, it's like, mommy, watch me dive off the diving board. Mommy, watch me dive. Mom, watch me dive. Look at my team. Look at how good I did. They want to have their head patted by like some streamer or by some content creator, right? Or by some pro. It's just like, dude, just make a team that's good for you. Like, these guys all obsess over making the same team that a pro does. But look, a pro is a pro. You're not a pro. You're just some idiot who's watching them. So, like, just build a team that you like to use, right? My team's not, like, the most meta team in the world. If I needed to make the most meta team in the world, I probably wouldn't have half of these guys in there, right? I probably wouldn't be using David Alaba. I just like David Alaba. I like the way he plays. He plays well to me. And this team is not necessarily the best team. It might not even be the best team that I've used all year, right? Like, this is a good example of a team that's probably very meta, right? Like, it just plays well for whoever's using it, right? But you don't need R9 Ronaldo. If you don't know how to use him, you don't need him, right? You don't need a 5-star if you don't use 5-star skills. If you're not a pro that knows how to actually utilize these guys, 5-star is not going to hurt you. But, like, do you need it? Are you going to pay the extra amount? Or would you rather take a guy like Dybala, for example, team of the season Dybala, who's like $2.5 million? I'd rather take the $2.5 million and actually build an entire team that's all really good cards than have, like, some crap team around a player who's just $2.5 million because I saw it on a pro or I saw some content creator make him. Like, guys, build a team that's good for you. And the same goes for tactics. I don't understand why people just go, show us your tactics. Like, you're not the guy using it, right? Like, you're not that pro. This guy built his tactics to reflect the way he plays. You don't play like that, or else you would be a pro too. So I am just encouraging people. I know people might get offended by that, or they might get butthurt by me saying it because I've been a real bitch today and I've just been like pissing and moaning. And I don't really necessarily want to make that, but like, this is the reality that you need to hear, right? Not all heroes wear capes. I'm just telling you what you probably need to hear. This is a game that's designed to build your team the way you play best with it. Don't just build a team and don't just build tactics because a pro used them. That's not going to make you better. You need to use a team and a formation and custom tactics that suit your playing style. So think with your brain. Don't just like regurgitate something that you saw a streamer do. Anyway, so that was my rant, right? every video has a rant. I'm going to take a drink because I'm actually quite thirsty after that. Now, this was a really interesting game. I don't know if you guys noticed it when I was like ranting and raving there. I think we were like 8-4, and we came up against one opponent, and the guy stopped 5 penalties. 5 in the one game. I didn't score a single penalty against him. I think I had 2 in the game. So I know that there's a tell. I know that you can tell where a guy's going to go, but I would love for you guys to like watch back my penalty efforts against that guy and tell me if he just got lucky or if there was literally a tell, because I tried mixing up where it was going. I tried having it in one place and then moving it. I tried to just shoot it directly. This guy stopped literally all 5 of my penalties. I couldn't figure out how the hell he did that. Credit to him for stopping all 5, but like he was moving on the line, and every time I would shoot, all my shots ended up very central, no matter how far I went in the corner. I don't green, I don't use time finishing, so I know that doesn't help. But at the same time, like this dude literally picked out like penalties out of the top corner. It was really crazy. This was just the most bizarre game, and probably, I don't even want to say the most frustrating, because like look, there was other frustrating games, but this game was just one of those ones where I just went like, this is just FIFA. Like this game right here was the most FIFA game of the entire weekend. Again, I know you guys are probably gonna hate on me here, but if you guys watch this guy's gameplay, not a terrible player, knew what he was doing. But when you watch the goals, like I generally think I'm pretty consistent. Like I make mistakes, I make errors in the back. But when I was watching this back, this guy's goals, literally he just walked through my team. Like it felt like there was just no stopping. Like look at that. The keeper dives, it hits his body and then still goes in. Like this was just one of those games where I felt like I didn't have a chance. And everything just broke. Like look at how easy this is. Right? Like the field is wide open. Wide open. And like generally my team's quite compact, but I don't know what was going on in this game. And yeah, again, like it's not to insult this guy. I just don't think he's a great opponent. It's just like this is not hard. Like look, he's literally just turn, pass. There's not even really any thought. It was almost like my players were literally pylons. Like they didn't try to stop anything. I just couldn't stop this guy at all this entire game. And I don't know, maybe it's just sour grapes, but like those goals, right? Like they were the easiest goals I've ever seen conceded. And it was one of those games that was this game just felt so broken in that match that I was like, it didn't even anger me. I was just like, this game is so broken. Like, I just can't stop this guy. Like, literally, he's just like turn, pass. And it's not server issues, guys. It's not a connection issue. Like, my players are responsive. It's just, they, like, the computer AI for my players were just moving into positions where they were just in no man's land. Like, I don't understand what happens with DDA to cause that. Like, I just don't. And again, it's not meant to be like a whiny, bitchy, like, oh, woe is me. I would love somebody to explain that to me. Like, what happens there? Was I defending perfectly? No, obviously not. But, like, 8 goals. And the guy was average. He was very average. Like, very average. Anyway, so that was that game. We took our team offline, I think, before this game because we were down against it. I literally was like 10-6, and I had 5 games, and we just took a bunch of losses, and I was panicking at this stage. So like I took my team offline for about 3 or 4 games, literally just like pounded the computer to get them playable. And I will say that this game I was very proud of my team. This guy was a decent opponent. He was better than the last guy that we played, no doubt in my mind. Little unfortunate there with the David Alaba. I don't remember hitting slide tackle there. I remember like wondering what the penalty was for, and then when I watched it back, I was like, I guess I must have hit slide tackle. I don't remember it, but yeah, we come up against this guy. He ends up going up 2-1 on the penalty. I was honestly sweating it, guys. Like I was at the verge of not even getting 11 wins. Right? It was really crazy. 11 wins. I was thinking like this is not even that difficult. But yeah, this guy's team played. This guy played the game the way I hate playing against, which is it feels like it's almost like a 4-2-4 against a 4-2-4. It creates almost like 2 lines of guys at the box. Like it'll be my 4 attackers against his 6 defenders. right? He'll have like two midfielders, and they'll just create like a line at the top of the 18, and it's like this impenetrable like force that you have to just break through. I'm very thankful here I was able to score late. I was just like rushing this guy, as you guys can kind of see in some of the build-up play. I know I kind of like cut it short there, but I was coming at this guy in just waves. Like, it was literally just wave after wave after wave. He couldn't keep the ball out. And again, he was a decent opponent. But I was just like, I just need a break. See, it creates a line there, and you just have to break through the... Sorry, I'm arguing with the screen here. But it creates a line right at the top of the 18. When they do that, it is the worst experience in FIFA, because it becomes this line of bees that are just guarding the top of the 18. If you get the ball, you have to just power through that line and hope that you can, penetrate the line. Because when they start doing that, it is really hard to get through. It is very hard. Through balls don't work. They'll go right to the keeper. Short passes don't work because the player will take a heavy touch and then the defender will just take it from you, and then he'll be away on a counterattack. It is really hard to do, but I got, lucky, good, whatever you want to say. But I was so proud of my team, guys. It felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders when we ended up scoring that goal. Look at that. Oh my God, ridiculous. But that was just one of those games that was very back and forth. But when we scored, guys, I was so proud of that team. I was just like, my boys, they came out with the win. So deserved. Like, I don't care what anyone says. That game was very satisfying to beat that guy because he was super ratty. Good opponent, but look, rats are hard. They're fun to beat, man. They are fun to beat. So anyway, we do finish at 11-8. It was not a fun experience. It was really terrible. But look, I was thinking maybe we'll get Neymar, maybe we'll get Messi, maybe we'll get Mbappe. Lafont, Klaus, and Terrier, who is terrible. Terrier is one of the worst players I've ever used. He's just very stiff and poor. He's okay, he's usable, but he's not very good. And then we got Saliba, Terrier, and Lafont. So those are my rewards after the weekend of hell, and none of the packs gave us anything either. So needless to say, when this happened, this is when I had my interaction with my poor lovely girlfriend who just wanted to chat about her day and ask me how I was doing, and I was just a piece of crap. Honestly, I was being a piece of crap because I'm just like, honestly, babe, I need to just take some time because I was so irritated. Those are the rewards that they give you. They should not be giving you the same players in both packs. That is absolutely criminal. After what I can only describe as being the most, unfun is not a word, but the most unenjoyable experience I've probably ever had playing a video game. That was absolutely horrifying to play. It was not fun at all. And I'm not afraid to say that. It is criminal, some of the stuff that they are doing with this. Considering they asked people to pay money for this, it should be theft. It should be viewed as theft, because that was crazy to me to get those two sets of players. It was absolutely crazy. Anyway, so what you guys are seeing here is just some of the stuff at the very end. Throughout the course of the week, like I said, we didn't go and really do a whole lot. We kind of did our SBCs, when they would release it here at 10 a.m. I did a couple of the objectives. That Dan Juma's okay. He's a big beast. He's got some decent skill and power. I don't think he's necessarily meta, but he would be good for an objective team or something that you can take online. Tchouaméni, I just realized, I just needed a little bit more of a physical presence in the midfield. Verratti was fantastic. Modric was fantastic, but one of them had to go. They were too similar a player. They weren't big and strong enough, and I ended up losing some physical battles in the midfield. They both defended very well, but they were just too small. So I needed one. I'm going to keep Modric. I'm going to put Tchouaméni with them, and then Verratti can come off the bench if I need him. Ajorque was an objective. Never even took him out of the pack to say. So to say, I literally dumped him right back into an SBC. He looks absolutely terrible. I have no interest in using him at all. 3-star skills, 4-star weak foot. I would not recommend using him, guys. But we ended up doing him just because he was a free 92 rated card that we could dump into an SBC. And then I'm trying to think of anything else that happened over the course of that week. These are the last two SBCs that we did. This one was for Savigny. This guy actually is a quite decent card. I think there's better French players that you could have just got. I don't think he was necessary to do, but for 100k, decent little card. I thought he was fun to use. He could go into your midfield if you have a bunch of French midfielders and you just need somebody to fill a spot, and let's say you can't afford Chimeni or somebody like that. I would recommend Savanier. I don't think he's available anymore, but he was a good little card. He was fun to use, and he could be a good box-to-box. He's good attacking, and he's good defensively, so he's a very well-rounded card. And then the last one that we did was Gouiri, I think was his name. I think it's Amine Gouiri. But he's the left mid, and I was so happy because I was trying to play around with different formations because I just needed Terrier out of my team. Terrier the terrible, he was absolutely god-awful. I do not recommend ever getting him, but thankfully they released Gouiri, who is really, really good. Very good card. There's nothing else to say. Like, he's just super well-rounded. There he is, Gouiri, as we dump in our... Who's the keeper again? That's going to drive me crazy. I can't even remember his name now. But the keeper, that we got that untradeable version of whatever his name is, the keeper from Tottenham. And we end up getting Gouiri, who is a fantastic replacement. So Terrier out, Gouiri in. He's a really good card, super well-rounded, little diminutive forward who can score goals, and he's got a great little dribble on him. But that is going to be it, guys. We'll release a video either tomorrow or the next day where we will go and try to do our Lautaro Martinez objective. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you sticking with me through the whole thing to the very end. Until next time, take care. Peace.